Hello, this is Peter with Crocker Asphalt Services, and I just wanted to highlight a few of our chip seal projects for you so you can see 2, 3, 4 years and beyond how this still works. We did about 3 years ago, we did this is the big Calvary church on 51. We didn't do the whole church. There was parts of it that was being renovated. There was other parts that was brand new being added on the front. So there were some areas that we did not do. But on this back side here, we did do this area. And I wanted you to see how 3 years later, of course, 3 years is not just the only way you tell. You got to go 5, 6, 10, 15, and chip seal does that. What we try to do is show you that there's several options if you need a new parking lot. You can overlay, which is the cheapest option, just overlay what you have. But about the only time we really recommend that is if it's a very small parking lot with about 6 lines, 6 parking spaces, that sort of thing. Otherwise, if you don't correct what's down there, in 2 or 3 years' time, you're going to have some of the same issues. On the other end of the spectrum is removing everything. And if you remove everything and restart all over again, grade it and all, certainly we can do that as well. That costs you a lot more because a church this size or a parking lot this size, you're talking 2 or 3 days of just hauling stuff away back and forth to the landfill. So now it comes down to you're either going to mill and pave or you chip seal. Both of them are kind of dealing with the parking lot as it is. With mill and pave, you figure you have 2 inches of asphalt. You're going to take the top inch out and replace that with an inch and a half, in many cases an inch of asphalt. The only problem with mill and pave is that the milling machines are very expensive, and you're talking several $1,000s a day. Unless you're one of the real large companies, they just don't do that. But you have to rent them. So in order to rent them, they're very expensive. That cost gets passed to you, that sort of thing. So we work with a process called, and we do mill and pave as well, but we work with a process called chip seal, which allows us to work with the parking lot you have. Now, the first thing we have to do is make sure that your parking lot qualifies. If your parking lot is so decimated that you can reach down in and literally pull up parts of the asphalt, then it does no good. A chip seal will not work with that. But if it's just a lot of it's too far gone to seal coat and just expect to be able to correct with a few pothole replacements, so you have a lot of gatoring, that sort of thing, then we can work with that through chip seal. With the tar and chips, we apply it on top of the current asphalt. It goes through the cracks, and then it also creates like a concrete substance. And then we put the 1.5 inches on top of it. And as you can see, that's what we've done here. And 3 years later, you can see just how good this is looking. This is still in great shape, still doing what it's supposed to do. And it's going to be like this, next year, the year after, 5 years, 10 years. If they seal coat every few years like they're supposed to, and keep this parking lot protected, because that's what hurts. That's what seal coat helps. Protects from UV rays, heat, freeze and thaw. In the wintertime, you get a little bit of crack and water gets in it, and then it freezes at night and expands. Things like that, seal coat will help. And so you do want to do that. But this is going to help you 15 years, even if you don't do anything with chip seal. And then if you seal coat and take care of your parking lot, you're talking about an extra 5, 10 years or better. So it does what it's supposed to do. This is the first example I'm giving you, and then I'm going to go to the next location. Okay, so here we are at our second location, and this too was about 3 years ago. And this is the Bible Broadcasting Network, just a couple of miles down the road from Calvary Church. I'm going to highlight some of these in the Pineville area because they're just easier for me to go to, but there'll be several different years that we've done these. And you can see, once again, this one in great shape, no signs of cracking whatsoever. See if I can get this without getting my shadow in there. But as you can see, they're going to be coming up here probably in a year or so on needing seal coat, because again, this is unprotected asphalt and you want to protect it from the UV rays so it lasts a long time. But this is where we're at. This is the second example of a success story with chip seal. Okay, so we're at project number 3. This is Animal Hospital here in Pineville, and this one's about a year older, so going back about 4 years. But as you can see, once again, how great a shape this is in, how it's holding, no cracks. We can't always be responsible for everything. We never know what's going on underneath, whether the parking lot's on top of a hill, whether it's down below and holding water, whether it's dipped to one side and it gets shifting of the earth. There's a lot of things that can cause cracking to take place. So nothing is 100%, but you know, the asphalt does what it's supposed to do, and our workers do what they're supposed to do. And you can see right here, chip seal is a method that works. This is 4 years and counting. So they're probably another example needs seal coat in another year or so. But this one's going to go for a long time. And then I got 2 more that I'm going to that'll going to be much older. Okay, so here's the next project. This one's in downtown Pineville, and this is the road actually. This is not a parking lot, so this is even a better example of how chip seal is working here, is because you're on a road where you get heavier traffic. This is right outside of a grade school, so it gets all the school bus traffic. That had to kind of wait a little bit for all the cars to go by, but this is a pretty busy road, and this one's going on like 8 or 9 years now. And you can see there's oil spots there. You're going to have that from the cars and the buses. They get no seal coat, but this one's held in pretty good. This one's held in really well. I mean, if I can get right down on this thing, I don't see any cracks in it. A couple of cracks down the road in certain areas, but this is this is a great example of the power of chip seal. Okay, so our final project that we'll observe today is the Pineville Electric Company, and this is one we've done 13, 14 years ago. And we didn't do the whole parking lot. We did not do the front here. We just did the sides and then to the back. So as you can see, it has been restriped, you know, probably a couple of times over the years, because those look pretty fresh. But you can see you're going to have, in 13 years, you're going to have some cracks. Again, you know, you got a few cracks here, and you got cracks down the center where the seam is. You're going to have that. But take a look at this, 13, 14 years, still looks good. Again, as I said before, you have cracks. Asphalt, just because you get a new parking lot doesn't mean it's going to not crack. Some places are going to be worse than others, depending on where it's set up, whether it's up above, or you know, it sits in a low spot, or it sits under a bunch of trees where it doesn't get sun to dry out as fast, or it gets too much sun. There's just a lot of things that play into aging asphalt. And that's why over the years you'll have to stay on top of crack filling when cracks are small. This right here is when you start to get cracks that are this size right here. You definitely want to start paying attention to those before they get too big, because in the winter water will get in there in the daytime, and then at night it'll freeze and expand. So, but overall they've taken good care of this parking lot, and they got a lot of heavy trucks, and you see what it looks like even 13 plus years later. So there, I hope you have a good little pool of jobs that we've been able to show you, and I hope you get a good idea of just the value of chip seal and how you can spend a lot less money with the same amount of quality, and sometimes even better with chip seal. Thank you.